What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Paul Talks Patriots on Dogs TV. The preseason is finally wrapped up and the roster has been cut down to 53 spots. Couple of surprises, couple of no-doubters. Let's get into it. Alright, well, first of all, I do want to talk a little bit about the Patriots versus Commanders game. And just the complete difference in performance for the offense when Jacoby Brissett was out on the field versus Drake Maye. I mean, the offense, just probably for the second week in a row, looks so much better with Drake Maye out on the field. And I'm surprised, honestly. I know Drake Maye, third overall pick, you're expecting him to be the quarterback for your franchise for the next 15 plus years. But he had a lot to work on coming out of college. And for him to look this good so early is surprising to me. But there is no doubt in my mind that this kid has fixed, or heavily improved on, I should say, on a lot of things that he needed to fix coming into the NFL. His pocket presence is great. He's going through progressions well. His accuracy has even gotten better. That's the one thing where I still think he needs to improve on, which is tough to do, but he's even improved it already. But the most drastic thing is his footwork in the pocket. He's not freaking out. He's stepping up. He's shifting around all the pressure, and he's making good throws. Unfortunately, the offensive line just continues to be horrendous. Just drawing so many flags. You guys all saw it. The Chukes for four times lined up in the backfield. And you know what? At that point, I don't even blame Okorafor. I blame Scott Peters. How do you let one of your players get the same penalty four times in a row in one half? Just one half. Scott, you got to do something about that. Scott Peters has to tell Okorafor to line up closer to the line of scrimmage. It's not rocket science. Just line up closer to the line of scrimmage. Now, Okorafor is a natural right tackle, playing left tackle. So I would expect him to have some fundamental issues, not be the best blocker over there. But you know what? All that is up here. Those four penalties, that's all mental. And part of that, I do blame on Scott Peters. Besides Okorafor, it didn't get any better across the line. And Nick Leverett is he's not a center. Not right now, at least. He is older. It's probably going to be tougher to develop him into one. He is good at guard. I do like him at guard. As far as center goes, he had one or two good blocks and then a lot of poor plays and can barely snap the ball. So, honestly, look for the Patriots. You're hearing about this waiver wire claiming. Look for the Patriots to not only go after a tackle, but a center who can competently snap the ball. If David Andrews gets hurt, this whole offensive line is going to go to shit. City Sal got injured, so you're already down depth at the position. Vidarian Lowe wasn't playing because of injury, and so Layden Robinson got a chance to prove his worth and why he should start, and he also just did not perform at all. And he's going to be the reason Vidarian Lowe remains in the starting lineup, because he just did not perform. And Nwenu is going to have to play right guard. And then Okorafor is going to get bumped back over to right tackle, and you're going to have Lowe at left tackle, most likely. And you know what? I don't know if their performance was better when it came to blocking, but at least they make less mental mistakes when Okorafor is at right tackle. And you can be bad at blocking, but the penalties, drawing the penalties, just makes it 10 times worse. You can't get a drive going downfield. Doesn't matter if you have 5 all-pro caliber linemen across the board. If you keep drawing penalties, that's a drive killer and the quickest way to get your offense off the field. So if we're going to be bad, we need to be the least amount of bad as possible. So get the original offensive line that's been out there the first 2 weeks of the preseason back on the field starting. As far as our weapons go on offense, Polk and Baker, the rookies. Polk, honestly, might be the best wide receiver in that wide receiver room. Demario Douglas just really did not know what he was doing after half the time out there. It seemed like there was multiple plays where I just saw him dancing around instead of getting upfield, trying to be shifty, ended up going back 5 yards to go forward 2. That doesn't work. Pop, I love you, but that was poor. That was a poor effort on your part. And Jalen Polk, to add on to him, he's been consistent all preseason and every opportunity he's got. It's been really fun to watch, and you can already tell the dude's going to be a stud for many years. So him and Drake are looking like the future, but then you add in Javon Baker, who has struggled this preseason. He's got a case of the yips. He can't catch the ball for some reason after making all these great throws, not only in the preseason, but in his college career. You watch his highlights, you watch his game film, the dude knows how to jump up and grab a 50-50 ball, and it's usually not 50-50, it's usually in his favor. His route options, route running, there was one pass by Joe Milton in the third quarter, I believe it was, where Javon kept running to the end zone, and it should have probably been a comeback route, but because that's where Joe Milton threw it, so I'm going to blame that one on Baker. Other than that, though, what my favorite play, possibly the whole game, was the punt when Javon was a gunner and hustled all the way down the field and forced a fair catch by the Commanders. How many wide receivers, specifically because of position just filled with divas, how many wide receivers do you see hustling down the field and making that type of play from a wide receiver that already knows he's going to make the roster? His spot is locked on the roster, and he still has the heart and hustle to get down the field and make that fair catch happen. Just a fantastic play by Baker, and basically just tells me all I need to know about the guy's mentality. I love that. As far as the running backs go, Hasty earned the final spot over Kevin Harris, and a lot of people were shocked by that. Did I have Harris making it over Hasty? Yes, I did in my prediction, but Hasty, when you look at it, just provides more versatility, and he proved to be the better running back throughout the preseason. And that's not to say Kevin Harris had a bad preseason. He did not. He had a good one. But Hasty, when he got on the field, was a great rusher and a great pass catcher. So if you go down an injury between Ramondre and Antonio Gibson, who would you rather have? Probably Hasty, who offers you a lot more versatility out of the backfield, other than Kevin Harris, who's probably only good for downs 1 and 2. On top of that, Terrell Jennings got cut, but I have a really good feeling he's going to be stashed on the practice squad and used also as a power back if needed. He had a really good showing in the limited time he played, and hindsight's 20/20, but I look back at it now and say I think the coaches saw all they needed to see in that first preseason game. Terrell Jennings played great, proved he could play that Kevin Harris role, but he's a little younger, and it's going to have an extra year on his contract, so keep him under team control a little bit longer, and maybe he develops into a solid contributor down the road. As far as the kicking competition goes, this was interesting. Chad Ryland just may go down as the worst draft pick from Bill Belichick ever. He got cut. and Joey Sly won the kicking competition. Basically, this was just who was the lesser of the two evils. They both really did not do anything crazy to earn their spot. It was really just who did less worse. And it was Joey Sly, so congrats to Joey Sly. You won the spot. I'm going to cut to commercial break real quick, and we will be right back. This is Paul Talks Patriots on Dog TV.
Malo is my French bulldog. He made my heart bigger when he came in my life. He never really liked his food. He wouldn't eat till like 10 o'clock at night. To me, it was saying, oh, I guess I don't want to starve. He was having skin breakouts, and putting the two and two together, what you put into your body is what you get out. I know that if I'm eating a bunch of processed food, I'm not going to feel good. That kind of led me to Farmer's Dog. Immediately, his skin issues went away. I love what they're doing. It's already portioned out. He's eating whole foods. It's amazing.
On the College Football Dogs website, you'll find a main page that features some of our biggest and newest stories. Our conference pages for content related to your favorite team's conference. Our team store, where we have products that are available all year long, as well as gear available for a limited time only. Our podcast page, where you can see when one of the 12 plus College Football Dogs podcasts is streaming live on social media. Our subscription page, where you can join our Discord. If you're interested in becoming a contributor at College Football Dogs, email us at info@collegefootballdogs.com. If you enjoy any College Football Dogs content, we really do appreciate any donations you can make by visiting the donate page on our website or scanning the QR code here.
College Football Dogs, for the fans.
Welcome back to Paul Talks Patriots on Dogs TV. We'll continue to go through the roster spot battles that we had. As far as filling out the rest of the wide receiver room, the real battle really was between Jalen Reagor and David Wallace, and David Wallace just did not do enough to make the roster. He was a great preseason story, had a couple of really good returns, but as I said last week, it proved to be true. Jalen Reagor just offers more versatility and can do more stuff for the team. His returning, as far as returning goes, yeah, David Wallace may have had the better stats, but how much of it was blocking and how much of it was him actually reading and getting through gaps? That really impressive play he made against the Eagles, he literally ran straight forward through a wide open hole and then cut to the outside, and yeah, he picked up like 50 yards. I'm not just going to shove that under the rug, but a lot of that was due to the blocking, and had Jalen Reagor done that, he might have had the breakaway speed to take that to the house. So, and then you talk about who would you rather have running routes, the former first rounder or the undrafted free agent from a Division III school? You tell me. Reagor just offers a lot more versatility and is the better overall player, and I was rooting for David Wallace, but this move made sense. Along with him, Kayshon Boutte finally got what he deserved, got a roster spot, and hopefully he can see the playing field a little bit this year. We will see how that goes. I'm not sure how long he will be on the 53-man roster because Kendrick Bourne got put on the physically unable to perform list, so he'll be out for the first 4 weeks at least. And it's easy to assume Kayshon Boutte will be on the outside looking in once Bourne comes back. Outside of that, Matt Landers, who we picked up for about a week, got cut. And then next to David Wallace, you also had Kawan Baker, who got cut. And don't forget Jaquay Jackson, who had that very unfortunate injury against the Eagles. He is on the injured reserve. Hopefully he can snag a spot on the practice squad. Outside of that, our other receivers, the tight ends. This was an interesting one. Obviously, Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper were locks to make the team, but the team did cut ties with Jacob Warren, the undrafted free agent out of Tennessee. No surprise there. I was rooting for him. He just really didn't get too much of a chance and didn't prove worthy enough as a blocker to make the team. He got cut on Monday. Then you had LaMichael Petway and Mitchell Wilcox also getting cut. Petway just did not really perform at all in the preseason, so that wasn't shocking. Wilcox, I thought, had a chance to make the roster, and he dealt with a little bit of injuries during the preseason and ultimately just didn't do enough on the field when he got his opportunities. Jaheim Bell on the other side looked promising. Again, a guy that has versatility. He will line up in the wing in the backfield. He'll line up close to the line. He'll line up in the slot. He can do a lot of different things for you and is a really good receiver. He's kind of like a Jonnu Smith build, if you haven't noticed, and can do a lot for your team. So, good for him. I'm interested to see how this is going to play out, though, because Austin Hooper and Hunter Henry have been dealing with injuries. So, maybe Mitchell Wilcox finds himself on the practice squad, getting an opportunity for a week or two with the team. We will see. As far as other positions go, linebacker was an interesting one. Yeah, you had your locks for the position, and really what it came down to was Sione Takitaki is going on the POP list, and who is going to take his spot? Well, he's gone, and it was Christian Ellis or Joe Giles-Harris. Well, Giles-Harris performed very well last game, had a pretty good game against the Eagles. Christian Ellis, vice versa, had a really good week 1 that stood out a lot, and then a decent week 2, and then he did okay in his playing time in week 3. But ultimately, as much as Giles-Harris made it an interesting competition throughout preseason, Ellis won and snagged that last roster spot. So he claims the last spot. Again, Sione Takitaki, as soon as he comes back, I don't think Ellis will be on the 53-man roster. We'll see how that plays out. Another close battle was the cornerback position. You had your locks, obviously, for the position, and really what it came down to was Shaun Wade, Marco Wilson, Isaiah Bolden, and Marcellus Dial. Now, they ended up keeping 3 out of the 4 of them, and Wade was the one that got cut. And I've been saying, Shaun Wade, he's older, he's been around, he's had his chance, it was time for him to move on. I didn't think Bolden would make the roster when it came down to it, just because I didn't think they would carry that many cornerbacks, but they saw his worth, I'm sure, on special teams and as a cornerback, and it was enough for them to give him a roster spot. So they're carrying 7 cornerbacks as of right now. We'll see if that switches throughout the season. I'm sure it will. But you have some special teams help there, and you get to keep Marcellus Dial and don't risk losing him to waivers. Safeties. Joshua Bledsoe was cut on Monday, one of the first cuts made by the team. And all Bledsoe did was really provide special teams help. Yeah, he made a couple of highlight plays in the preseason when he got his chance. So I was surprised to see him go so early in the cuts. But ultimately, I don't think he performed well enough when given a shot. And Del Pettis snuck into the 53-man roster. I am hyped. I've been on his wave since he got signed as an undrafted free agent right after the draft, brought into training camp. And you watch 10 minutes of this guy's film from college at Troy. He balled out at Troy. And he wasn't the most perfect, well-refined player. Obviously, that's why he wasn't drafted. But the kid likes to hit, and he knows the game of football pretty well. So I'm excited for him. I hope he does see the field because the guy lays the hammer, and he's fun to watch. Outside of that, Antonio Maffey got cut, a little surprising to some people. but the guy just didn't perform. I had him maybe making the team before the preseason. I just didn't think the guy was that good. And it really showed in this preseason. Out of the worst offensive line group in the NFL, this guy who started games for us last year couldn't even make the team this year. Yeah, he was a project piece. He played a little bit of defense in college and tried to convert to a center this year, and it just didn't work out, unfortunately. Maybe he'll get picked up by another team. They see some raw potential still with him, but it just wasn't working out here. Besides that, the biggest story, the biggest cut, Bailey Zappi. The writing was on the wall ever since we drafted Drake Maye and Joe Milton. It just didn't feel right for him to be here. His story ended last year with Bill Belichick and Mac Jones and all that. And I like Bailey Zappi. I am rooting for him to do well wherever he may end up. He will get another chance, at least as a backup in the NFL. After getting cut last year and clearing waivers and ending up back on the Patriots, he proved his worth in those couple games he played, that he can be a serviceable backup. Is he ever going to be a starter? No, probably not. But if you do need him to start, when your starter gets hurt, he can be a serviceable backup and run a competent offense. So I'm wishing all the luck to Bailey Zappi. Hopefully he finds a nice home that respects him. Other than that, that's all I've got. This is our 53-man roster. It will change a little bit with injuries, people coming back. But this is who we're rolling with. Get used to the names. Learn it, live it, love it. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment, whatever you like. Follow me on social media at Paul Talks Patriots on Facebook and Instagram, and at Paul Talks Pats on X. I'll catch you next Tuesday, guys. See you later.